Drop that joint, DJ, enough. Who shot you? Separate the wheat from the ox.
Turn it back up.
Who shot you? Separate the wheat from the ox. Leak.
What I'm supposed to do. They know in their heart. That's why they in hell now. They can't sleep. That's why they telling all the reporters and all the people, why they doing this? They fucking up.
The Tupac article had me pissed off, you know what I'm saying? And the rumors that's spreading is on some tip like we set them up, you know what I'm saying? And that's crazy.
Kind of recognize the power that me and Tupac had to be able to have a personal problem with each other and wage a East Coast, West Coast beef. I mean, that's a coast against a coast.
Biggie betrayed him prior to that shooting. They were really good friends.
I was the truest nigga involved with Biggie's success.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Angie Martinez, and you are officially locked in with Thug Legacy Entertainment. Here, we go beyond the headlines to uncover the real stories that shaped hip-hop. Today, we're diving into one of the most explosive and misunderstood moments in rap history. The notorious B.I.G's Who Shot Ya, a track forever linked to the shooting of Tupac Shakur at Quad Studios. Was it a coincidence, a diss, or something deeper? The truth is layered with friendship, betrayal, and industry politics. We're peeling back those layers, separating fact from myth, and hearing from those who lived it. This isn't just about a song, it's about a pivotal moment that changed hip-hop forever. So, get comfortable, because we're about to break down the real story behind Biggie's Who Shot Ya. Let's get into it.
We would take your turntables you played.
To truly understand the meaning behind Who Shot Ya, you first have to realize that Biggie and Tupac were once more than just fellow artists. They were like brothers, not enemies. Their story didn't start with rivalry or diss tracks, but with a genuine friendship that would shape the course of hip-hop history. Back in the early 90s, Tupac was already a superstar, a force in the rap world. He recognized Biggie's raw talent and potential, and instead of seeing him as competition, Pac took Biggie under his wing, offering guidance and support. Pac let Biggie crash at his place when he needed it, brought him on stage to perform in front of huge crowds, and mentored him through the unpredictable highs and lows of the music industry. Their bond was real, built on trust and shared dreams. They spent countless hours together, not just making music, but sharing meals, stories, and ambitions. Their friendship was a rare thing in a world often marked by competition and ego. Their bond was built on mutual respect. Pac admired Biggie's lyrical genius, while Biggie looked up to Pac's relentless energy and work ethic. They inspired each other to push boundaries and redefine what hip-hop could be. They freestyled together, bounced ideas off one another, and genuinely enjoyed each other's company, both in and out of the studio. Their chemistry was undeniable, and it showed in every collaboration and every candid moment. Photos of them laughing together captured a moment of pure promise for hip-hop, a time when anything seemed possible, and the future was bright for both artists. This brotherhood, this deep connection is what makes their eventual fallout, and the story behind Who Shot Ya so much more tragic and heartbreaking. It wasn't just a rap beef, it was a friendship torn apart by misunderstandings, outside influences, and the pressures of fame. The pain ran deeper than any diss track could ever express. The song Who Shot Ya became a symbol of their division, a track that would be forever linked to their fractured relationship. But it was born in the shadow of a powerful connection that once brought hope to hip-hop. Understanding the depth of their brotherhood is key to grasping the true weight of what followed and why the story of Biggie and Pac still resonates so deeply today. So where did Who Shot Ya really come from? The origins of this iconic track are shrouded in hip-hop legend, with stories swirling for decades about its true purpose and intended artist. Many fans have speculated about its meaning, but the real story is more complex than most realize. According to Biggie's camp, the song wasn't even meant for him at first. In fact, the beat had a journey of its own before it ever landed in Biggie's hands. Producer Nashim Myrick originally made the beat for a Mary J. Blige remix, hoping to give her sound a harder edge. When that didn't pan out, he considered it for Keith Murray's album intro, thinking the raw energy would fit Murray's style perfectly. Keith Murray even recorded vocals over the beat, laying down his own verses in a late-night session, but label politics and creative disagreements shelved the track, leaving it in limbo and out of the public ear. For months, the beat sat unused, just another tape collecting dust in the studio archives. That is, until Biggie heard it during a session and instantly connected with its gritty, haunting energy. Inspired, he wrote his verses on the spot, channeling the rawness of street life and the tension of the times. Contrary to popular belief, he wasn't aiming at anyone in particular, he was just capturing a mood. The session was organic, with Biggie and his team vibing off each other. And it all happened months before the infamous Quad Studios shooting that would later change everything. Biggie's team insists the song was finished long before Tupac was ambushed, and that any connection to the East Coast-West Coast feud was pure coincidence. To them, it was meant as a hard-hitting street record, a showcase of lyrical skill and raw production, not a diss track or a declaration of war. The official story is that Who Shot Ya was just another track in the vault, until history and circumstance gave it a new, controversial meaning. That's the narrative Bad Boy has stood by for decades, defending the song's origins and insisting it was never meant to fuel one of hip-hop's most infamous rivalries. Everything changed on November 30th, 1994. Tupac was ambushed and shot 5 times in the lobby of Quad Studios, while Biggie and the Bad Boy crew were upstairs. Pac survived, but the emotional scars ran deeper than the physical ones. Seeing Biggie and Diddy upstairs, Pac's shock and paranoia turned to suspicion. He believed they'd set him up. Whether true or not, that perception became Pac's reality. The trust was gone, replaced by anger and a thirst for revenge. For Biggie and Diddy, it was confusion and disbelief. They claimed no knowledge of the attack, but with Pac's immediate accusations, communication broke down completely. There was no room for explanation. The incident shattered their friendship and set the stage for hip-hop's most destructive feud. The wound never healed. This was the moment that changed everything. Now, let's connect the dots. The Quad Studios shooting happens, and just months later, Who Shot Ya drops as a B-side to Big Papa. From Pac's prison cell, the timing felt like a direct taunt, a slap in the face. The title and lyrics seemed to mock his pain, fueling his rage and suspicions. The streets and media ran with the narrative. Biggie was dissing Tupac. The song became the anthem of the East Coast versus West Coast beef. Biggie's camp insisted it was all coincidence, that the song was recorded long before the shooting. But explanations fell on deaf ears. The perception was too powerful. For many, Who Shot Ya was proof of betrayal. Regardless of the facts, the damage was done. The song's release became the spark that ignited a war. Sometimes perception is more powerful than truth. You can't ignore the business side. Sean Puffy Combs was a master marketer. Some believe he saw the controversy as a way to boost Bad Boy's profile, even if the song wasn't meant as a diss. Releasing Who Shot Ya at that moment could be seen as a power move, intentional or not. Diddy has always denied this, calling the timing a tragic coincidence and expressing regret. Still, the question lingers. Was it strategy or just bad luck? The truth may lie somewhere in the middle. Maybe the release was planned, and when controversy erupted, they let the buzz grow. Either way, the fallout was massive. In hip-hop, controversy sells, but sometimes the cost is too high. To get closer to the truth, we have to hear from those who were there. The story of Who Shot Ya is tangled in rumor and speculation, but the people at the heart of it remember things differently than the headlines suggest. To really understand what happened, we need to listen to the voices who lived it, not just the ones who reported on it. Producer Nashim Myrick and others insist the song was made months before the Quad Studios shooting. They recall late nights in the studio, experimenting with beats and lyrics long before any violence erupted. For them, the track was just another creative project, not a coded message or a warning shot. Lil Cease, Biggie's close friend, backs up the timeline. Who Shot Ya was just another hard track, not a targeted diss. He remembers the energy in the room, the excitement of making music, and insists there was no hidden agenda. According to Cease, the song was never meant to be personal. DJ Mr. C confirms that tracks often sat unreleased for months, making the timing plausible. In the fast-moving world of hip-hop, it wasn't unusual for songs to be recorded and shelved, waiting for the right moment to drop. The idea that Who Shot Ya was suddenly created as a response just doesn't fit the reality of how music was made back then. Even outside voices agree, the song's existence predated the incident. Journalists and industry insiders who followed the scene closely recall hearing about the track well before the infamous shooting. Their accounts add another layer of credibility to the timeline offered by Biggie's circle. Biggie himself told Vibe, "I wrote that song way before Tupac got shot. It was supposed to be for Mary J. Blige." He wanted to make it clear that the song's origins had nothing to do with the East Coast-West Coast feud. For Biggie, it was just another track, not a declaration of war. He sounded frustrated, caught in a narrative he couldn't control. No matter how many times he explained, the rumors kept spreading and the pressure mounted. It was as if the truth didn't matter anymore. Only the story people wanted to believe. The accusations blindsided him, but the story had already taken on a life of its own. The media frenzy and fan speculation made it impossible to set the record straight. Even those closest to Biggie were shocked by how quickly things spiraled out of control. In the end, the people closest to the music insist it was all a tragic misunderstanding. They remember the confusion, the hurt, and the sense that something precious had been twisted by forces beyond their control. For them, the real story is about miscommunication and lost trust. But by then, the myth was bigger than the truth. The legend of Who Shot Ya became part of hip-hop history, shaping perceptions for years to come. Fans and critics alike debated its meaning, often missing the reality behind the music. Sometimes, history is written by perception, not reality. The headlines, the rumors, and the speculation all became part of the official story, even if they weren't true. In the world of hip-hop, legends can overshadow facts, and that's what happened here. The truth was lost in the noise, leaving behind a story that was never quite what it seemed. Let's break it down. Myth versus fact. The biggest myth, Who Shot Ya, was a direct response to Tupac's shooting. The evidence says otherwise. The song existed months before the incident, verified by multiple sources. The lyrics are general, not specific to Pac, but the timing made them feel personal. The real catalyst was the release date. Whether intentional or not, it was a monumental mistake. Communication between Biggie and Pac broke down, and the myth of betrayal became more powerful than their friendship. In the absence of real dialogue, speculation took over. Who Shot Ya became a cautionary tale about how perception can destroy reality. So, what's the real story? Who Shot Ya wasn't meant as a diss. It was a victim of tragic timing, but the decision to release it and the failure to manage the fallout turned coincidence into conflict. For Biggie, it was frustration at being misunderstood. For Tupac, it was pain and betrayal. Both perspectives were shaped by circumstance, not malice. The legacy of Who Shot Ya is a warning. Narratives can spiral out of control, and words can become weapons. The beef cost hip-hop two of its greatest voices. The lesson? Communicate before jumping to conclusions. This isn't just hip-hop history, it's a human story about friendship, pain, and misunderstanding. Thanks for joining me on this journey with Thug Legacy Entertainment. Peace.